Hello, hello. We're taking a break from the physics to try something a little new, economics. And I want to talk to you about Adam Smith. Adam Smith is generally known as the father of economics, the first person to actually apply logic and reason to the behavior of what seemed like a pretty chaotic economy. And he developed a number of the bases of pretty much everything you're going to learn in Economics 101 comes from Adam Smith. But he identified 5 things which determine how much money a worker should make. These 5 things he felt pretty much explained why anybody received the compensation that they did for their work. And I'd like to start out with them. The first one is something called agreeableness. There's agreeableness. Yeah, it's actually agreeableness. agreeableness. The agreeableness of the work. Would you do your job for free? If your job is that nice, they probably don't need to pay you as much to do it. And that is true. Nicer jobs generally don't need to pay as much in order to get somebody to do it. There is a reason why the garbage truck driver makes more money than other drivers. And the septic truck driver makes pretty good money. The reason why? The agreeableness. The garbage truck driver has to drive a truck full of garbage with no air conditioning or any of that stuff. A regular truck driver doesn't have to deal with it. He has a more agreeable job, so he doesn't usually make as much money as the garbage truck driver. Sometimes people try to fight this. You hear about this when it comes to like people who pick crops. If somebody is cutting a lettuce and putting it into a box in a field, that's not as agreeable as the person in the supermarket who takes the lettuce out of the box and puts it on a shelf in an air-conditioned store. The guy in the store has a much more agreeable job. So in theory, he should actually be making less than the guy in the field. But people don't want to, for some reason, people don't want to pay people who pick crops more. But anyway, that's the agreeableness. The more agreeable a job is, the less you have to pay somebody. The less agreeable it is, the more you're going to have to pay, or somebody is just simply going to do something else. There are cleaning people who make hundreds of dollars an hour. The reason why, they clean up crime scenes where you got blood and maggots and everything else growing in, the remains of a horrible crime scene. Those guys make hundreds of dollars for a few hours of work because that is not agreeable work. Next up is skills. Now, it's the ease of acquiring skills. AQUIRING, skills. The easier it is to learn a job, the less the job is going to pay. Now, part of this comes from, does it require amazing skill and you need to have amazing skill naturally? Part of it comes from, do you have to go to school for a long time to get it? People who go to college for their career usually make more money than people who don't go to college for a career. It took a lot more to get those skills. Doctors make very good money. Lawyers make very good money. They went to college, they went to law school, they make very good money, mainly because it took a lot of work for them to get the skills they need to do the job. And even more, even simpler things. Pilots make more money than cab drivers. One big reason is because it's a lot easier to learn how to drive a car. It's, you have to get an instructor, but then you also just have to drive a car. If you're driving a plane, that's a lot more fuel, that's a lot more cost. For you to get that time behind, in the cockpit, learning how to do it, pilots are gonna make more money because simply the training costs a lot more money. Now, one place where cab drivers make a lot of money, London. The London cabbie pretty much has memorized the entire grid of London, what they call the knowledge. That takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. So he doesn't just know how to drive the car, he knows where everything is in London. And that means that London cab drivers make a lot more money than cab drivers in other cities where they don't really care if you know every single street of the city. So these are all the ease of acquiring skills. So whether the training is expensive or whether the training, as in the case of like a pilot, or if the training takes a long time, like a lawyer, where they spend years and years and years in school. Those are all things that are going to add up to more money when you're doing it. The next one is constancy. Constancy. Now, Adam Smith makes a point in his book that stonemasons and bricklayers generally make more money than carpenters and other journeymen who can work all year round. With a stonemason, they're outside, they need to have good weather to work. If they can't work, then they need to make enough extra money when they can work to survive. And they have the same kind of lifestyle that someone with other similar skills would have. So, jobs where you where you can't work all the time have to pay more while you're working, more per hour, to make up for the fact you can't work all the time. Seasonal work has a tendency to be this way. You think about the ice truckers in Alaska. It's not just because it's dangerous, and by the way, danger is a component of agreeableness. It's also because they can't do it all year round. It's not as constant, so they have to make as much money as they can when they can do it to compensate them for when they can't. All right, here is the next one, trust. Trust is key. Adam Smith points out that goldsmiths make more than silversmiths, and silversmiths make more than blacksmiths or other smiths. And when you think about it, the skills are not that much different. But the difference is one person works with iron, which is cheap, and another works with gold, which is very expensive. It is the trust involved. When you're trusting somebody with something that's important, you pay them better. Just because the cost of not paying them properly, the risk is there. The risk is very much there. So trust is important. People who are entrusted with things that are really important make more money than people who are not. People who are entrusted with things that are valuable, things that are when people are trusted with people's lives. Think of a surgeon. Think of a doctor who is entrusted with the life of a patient. Yes, there's a lot of work involved in getting the skills, but there's more than that. So that is really important. Now, finally, the final thing that Adam Smith identified are your chances of success. CCESS. Your chances of success. A career where you're likely to fail will more likely pay more for those who succeed. Think Hollywood actors. Think about all the actors in Hollywood waiting tables. Because let's face it, most people who come to Hollywood to act don't make it. They have to do something else. Well, those who do make more money as a result. And it's one of these things where it's a kind of a chicken and egg issue. Do they make more money because so many people failed? Or you could also say, well, maybe they make more money because if they didn't make a lot of money, then less people would even try. And then if less people try, then your chances of success are much better because there's less people trying for the same job. Same thing goes for professional athletes. Your chances of being as a professional athlete are not good. So for most people who go in there, they try to go and join the NBA, they're not going to make it. But for those who do, the compensation is considerable. So your chance of success, the less likely you are to succeed, and the more money you will make if you do succeed. And you could also say for entrepreneurs, people who start their own business, the ones who succeed make more, especially if the competition is incredibly fierce and most everybody else drops out. Well, actually, competition being fierce, not so much. But yeah, the less likely you are to succeed, the more you're going to make if you do succeed. So these are the 5 things that Adam Smith identifies as determining how much money a person will make. The agreeableness, is it a nice thing to do? Is it an easy thing to learn how to do? Will you be able to do it all the time? How much do people have to trust you when you're doing it? And what are your chances of success? So there you go. Adam Smith is really quite an interesting guy, but not always appreciated enough. Thank you very much. I hope you appreciated this video, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.